It's a bright and early Sunday afternoon, and we just finished up watching the two most important sporting events of the day. The St. Louis Blues beat the Montreal Canadiens 7-2, and the Vancouver Canucks found themselves back in the dub category, taking the NHL to a 3-point lead for first overall, and finishing off what was a fantastic day of sports here on Sunday. There are no other sports games that are going on today that are important, nor that people really care about. Right? So, let's go out there and talk about this Vancouver Canucks and Washington Capitals game. And yes, before you ask, of course I'm in a better mood than yesterday. I'm already ticked off, as much as I am waking up at 10 whatever a.m. in the morning to watch these early games, but it's a lot sweeter to do so when the Vancouver Canucks win. Now, I'll go out there and say that when it comes to this game against Washington, you know, there are some games where you watch it and you sort of feel like, yeah, there's a playoff atmosphere. There's a certain intensity as to everything that's going on. The most recent game, I think, that fits that example, in my mind at least, was the McDavid, Eichel, Edmonton-Vegas game from a few nights ago, the one where the Oilers lost their long winning streak. That game, I feel, was the biggest, most playoff-worthy game that we had seen in a while. Now, you may be asking, why the hell are you bringing this up? Well, because that game was playoff atmosphere worthy. This game, though, against the Washington Capitals, almost felt like the exact opposite at certain points. Sure, there were some highlights, and sure, there were some moments where the intensity was spiking, but for the most part, the collective body of this game felt more so like you were watching a bunch of players that were expecting to go home and excited to watch the Super Bowl. This felt more like a Sunday morning, let's just get it out of the way so we could get home and relax kind of game, rather than a playoff atmosphere type that we had been seeing with other teams and other performances over the past few weeks. Now, that's not particularly a bad thing. Sometimes you have those lulls, sometimes you're in a rut. But when it comes to both of these teams, especially throughout the third period with the long extended periods with no whistles, I was just kind of like, dude, they're just trying to kill the clock. Both of these teams, they're just coming in, taking a shot, going back the other way, defending a shot, they'll take it back, come down, take a shot, whatever. It's just rinse and repeat. We had like multiple minutes go by in the third period without any whistles, and I don't know, it was kind of okay. Not really the most frantic action, but still, the Canucks end up squeaking out of this game with the 2 points after not leading in a single moment until the end of the game. So, good on Vancouver for the ultimate comeback victory here, getting 2 one-goal deficits erased and eventually getting the overtime winner. But let's go out there and talk about just the tail of the tape here, talk about the ending story, because the game opened up in the first minute or so with a Nic Dowd goal. Yeah, remember the guy that the Vancouver Canucks refused to re-sign because they wanted to get Jay Beagle instead? Well, Nic Dowd went over to the Capitals. He's been pretty alright as of late, and now the Caps may as well go out there and get like a first or a second round pick for him at the deadline. And that guy's been pretty good. Meanwhile, Jay Beagle is not that. So, yeah, sucks to be Beagle on this day, but Nic Dowd, former Canuck once upon a time, had himself a fantastic start to this game. It's a play by Rasmus Sandin in his own zone. He throws it up, tipped into the Canuck zone. It goes across to the opposite corner, and eventually it's picked up by Nick Kubel, who centers it, and it's Nic Dowd all by himself. He's not tracked, not contested, whatever. He's by himself in front of Demko, and he's able to put the puck in and make it 1-0. Not the best start for Vancouver, and this has been sort of a pattern we have seen the past little while here, where the Canucks and their dominant starts have really started to take a back seat. We called them out a few weeks ago by saying, yeah, this is kind of the strategy. They get off to a hot start, they get off to a big early lead, and then they just sit back. They let the game come to them. But the past few games have been more so, oh wait, the game started, the Canucks are down 1-0 now. So, not the best way to get on the board quickly, but the Canucks respond shortly after with a Conor Garland goal, a very nice play by Noah Juulsen, whom I picked up in fantasy this morning as a very big desperation move to try and win my week. Spoiler alert, it worked because Juulsen had 3 blocks and an assist in this game. But Noah Juulsen takes an errant puck and passes it up for Conor Garland, who comes right in on a big break, and he fires it right by the Washington Capitals goalie. And hey, I'm sorry, Darcy Kuemper, but she had no shot on that one. It goes low blocker. Conor Garland with the magnificent game-tying goal in this one. That was technically a breakaway goal, but he didn't really come in to try to make a move. He just shot it from around the hash marks pretty much. It's 1-1. Pretty good for Vancouver, although that does not last for too long in the second period, as kicking things off about 7 minutes in, you have Alex Ovechkin coming down the left wing. He tries to center it for TJ Oshie, but the puck goes in anyway. It's not Oshie's goal, it's Ovi's, and that's his 5th straight goal in his 5th straight game. He's at 13 on the year, so he's definitely been at a slower scoring pace than we're used to seeing out of the Great Eight, but as he's done many times in the past, he's started to heat up as the season has progressed in the halfway point and beyond. So for Alex Ovechkin, there certainly is more fuel to the fire here for his season, and his goal gives the Washington Capitals the go-ahead lead. It's 2-1 Caps. But it doesn't stay 2-1 for long, as literally a minute later you have Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson assisting on another Nils Hoglander goal. Pettersson drops it off for Hoggy in the zone, Hoglander comes right in, and deking quickly to the backhand in tight, is able to get it upstairs over Darcy Kuemper. What a beautiful play by Nils Hoglander to dangle by and force himself to the front of the net. Of course, Elias Pettersson with the assist there is nice to see the good chemistry sparking up with this line here. It's 2-2 at the end of the second period. The third period sees no goals, no whistles either. Like, we had a long stretch of play in the third period, just kind of trading chances. No significantly high danger chances, but just chances nonetheless. Both teams had significant zone time, but really the third period was more so guys trying to kill off the time rather than getting the best opportunities possible. Either way, though, overtime begins, and this is where things go very poorly for one Connor McMICHAEL of the Washington Capitals. Young guy, by no means is he related to Connor McDavid, nor is he related to Connor McLennan, I'm pretty sure. Connor McDonald also exists as well. That's another guy in the WHL, I'm pretty sure. But either way, all Connor Mix aside, Connor McMICHAEL was like the most dangerous player in overtime. He had multiple chances on goal in the fast break. One of them happened to be a breakaway. I believe he hit a post. He also hit Demko's shoulder on one of these fast breaks. He was fantastic in terms of being able to find space and come in for the game winner. But he doesn't end up burying it on the multiple chances he gets, and instead, with 9 seconds to go, Elias Pettersson comes in, takes a shot, it's saved by Kuemper, the puck ends up in the corner, and Connor McMICHAEL, instead of making the safe play, playing it around the boards, tosses it up the middle, and it's picked off by JT Miller, who, with a few seconds left in overtime, wins the game 3-2 for Vancouver. Thank you very much. That's my fantasy week concluded. I ended up winning because of my desperation moves last night, picking up Noah Juulsen, and, of course, seeing Pettersson, Hughes, and Miller each getting points in this one. So Vancouver goes out there with the lead, they win the game, and as a result, they are now up 3 points on the second-place Boston Bruins in the NHL standings. Bruins, though, have a game in hand, so even if Boston wins their next game, the Canucks will still be up by 1. That's what you like to see, a good win, a comeback victory, and certainly not one of these wins that you could go out there and celebrate too much, because there were a few things where you could say the Canucks needed to improve upon. Their offensive zone time needed a bit more finessing, the power play needed a bit more cohesion. There were some good moments out of the second unit, actually, but still, the power play in this one, not great. In a way, they've really been getting humbled on this road trip, from the loss against the Wings to the destruction at the hands of the Boston Bruins. This has been a pretty didactic experience for the Vancouver Canucks, and they still pick up some points in the process, so you can't really go out there and complain too much. Just try to take footnotes as to what's been going on to cause this team a little bit more hardship than they've been used to at the earlier parts of the year. So they win 3-2 against Washington. Ovechkin gets a goal, so that's good. TJ Oshie is also on my fantasy team, and he's been very good ever since the late pickup, so I'm happy to see him going out there and getting on the board. But at the end of the day, this is yet another win for Vancouver. They play against the Chicago Blackhawks on Tuesday. If they win that game and get the 2 points, then the road trip will officially be a success, in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about the Canucks and the Capitals. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.